she got herself looking good. You know what I'm saying? She was looking smart, and she beautiful. She is standing in the presence of the king, and the king is like, girl, what do you want so badly that you're willing to put your life on the line for it? King's just too curious. He lifts his zipper. I want to find out what you want, babe. And so he lifts his zipper, and she comes in, and she's able, and she's like, she sets the whole thing up. Okay, I want you to come to dinner, and then I'm going to tell you. And the whole thing gets set up because she gets some chutzpah inside of her, in her boldness and strong-facedness against the law. And she's like, do I have enough relational equity with the king to pull this off? Turns out she did, and the king lifted his scepter to Esther. To be contrasted with Haman in the story. Haman, at that same time, he's like, you know what, I'd like to hang Mordecai. He builds some gallows so that he can hang Mordecai on his gallows. And that next morning, he comes in and he's going to request the king. He says, can I please hang Mordecai on my gallows? But he's not going to go illegal. No, he's not going to risk his life for this. He's going to go legal. So Haman comes to the outer court, takes a number, sits and waits in line, and the king, he says, okay, now who's in the court? They said, well, Haman's in the court waiting to have an audience with you. And the king says, well, let him come in. When Haman comes in, and you'll have to read Esther chapters 4, 5, and 6 to get all the context of the story that I'm citing. But when Haman comes into the inner court, the king says to him, what shall be done for the man that the king delights to honor? And Haman's like, oh, he's probably thinking about me. And so he comes up with this, put him on the king's horse, give him the king's garment, and let's not let a prince cry out. This is how the king honors the man in whom he delights. And so Haman comes up with this beautiful plan. And then the king says, okay, do everything that you have just spoken for Mordecai. Yeah. Haman came into the outer court to pray legal prayers, and he didn't even get a hearing. Esther went boldly into the inner court against the law and got a hearing with the king. Go illegal if you've got relationship. By standing in the inner court uninvited, she is basically serving the king of Persia an ultimatum. Yeah. Give me a hearing or give me a hanging. Just like the ultimatum that Lance has given Gabe. Is there a kind of prayer that is so strong-faced that it serves the King of the universe an ultimatum? I'm reminded of John Knox. Give me Scotland or I die. Do you need something from God so desperately that you're willing to serve the king an ultimatum? Unfinished message is over. This is the kind of praying Jesus is teaching us. Boldness, chutzpah kind of prayers. He's saying push back, challenge God's timing, get today what God was going to do tomorrow. Would you stand with me?